might be a little bit too epic for it is just a 8:30 live that I do every day. It sounded like it was really going to be something special. Well, of course it is. I'm Bill Caskey. I'm glad you're with me today, and we've got people joining, so we're going to go and hit it hard here for the next few minutes. As I said yesterday, we're doing a series this week on how to improve your income, how to increase your income. And as I've said many times, and for those of you who don't know me, I coach and train and have for the last 30 years sales people, business executives, anybody who's in the customer acquisition business or arena. I help with skills, with marketing advice, with positioning, messaging, everything that fits into the category of how do we go out and generate new clients. And for sales professionals and leaders, this is top of mind when it comes to income, because if you don't generate new clients or grow clients or in some way improve revenue, you don't make more money. And I'm on this kick here over the last few months is, we spend a lot of time on skills, and I want to continue to spend time on skills, but at some point you got to put money in your pocket. And money is the equivalent of the transfer of value. Money is the thing that your customer exchanges for value. So if you want to make more of it, you've got to deliver more value. It's a pretty simple equation. Want to make more? Give more. What are you giving more of? You're giving more value. You're not giving it away. You're providing more value for the prospect and in return for money. That's the ultimate exchange in sales. The problem is that we don't spend too much time on value. We spend a lot of time on behavior. What is my behavior? What does my behavior need to be? How many calls do I need to make? How many LinkedIn lives do I need to do? What do I need to do? We don't spend a whole lot of time on, well, how are you bringing value? And I hope these videos bring you some value. If they don't, you'll stop watching. And if you stop watching, we'll probably never do business together. And that's cool. That's okay. There's 7 billion people on the planet. My life is not worse without you. Your life is not worse without me. The question is can I bring value here so that you stick around and you consume this and you go out and try it and you find that Caskey, well, you know what? He's onto something here. This really is helpful. So that's the purpose of why I do these videos. But you have to figure out in your world what's valuable to your client, what's valuable to your prospect. So today I want to talk about the principles of high income. And everybody wants more. Everybody who comes to me, every business. I had a call yesterday with a guy that I hadn't talked to in years, and we used to do some work for his company, and now he's in a position where he can bring me back in. We're talking about how to help his people, and his people are already super high income people. They're already $500,000 a year people. You got 8 of them. They sell a very specialty thing, and they've got a lot of schooling and education behind them. These people are studs and studettes, but they still want more. And they've even come to him and said, we want to learn more. We want to get better. And that's, to me, what is the indicator between the high achiever and the amateur is the high achiever always wants to learn how to do things a little bit better, tweak their approach a little bit, improve their messaging, improve their mindset, improve their wisdom. The amateur never pays any attention to that. The amateur says, Bill, leave me alone. I'm good the way I am. I'm just going to keep doing things the way I've always done them. And certainly the world will change to accommodate me. I've got news for you. The world is not changing to accommodate you or me. It's just not. It's moving on with us or without us. It's like a train on the way to a destination. And you're either on the train or you're watching the train go through the station and you're not on. Terrible metaphor. But the point is that this train is moving. You can either get on or get off. If you get off, you can't say, well, geez, they never invited me on that train. You can't say to someone 20 years from now, boy, I wish I would have had some coaching and training. I wish my company would have invested in me. No, it's not up to your company to invest in you. It's up to you to invest in you. You've heard me talk about the client that I almost had that I had to fire before we actually worked with them, because I asked their people to buy Logitech cameras for their computers because I wanted to see them. And the company wouldn't buy them for whatever reason. Okay, The company decided not to buy them. And not one of the individuals, these people who were making 100 to 150 grand a year, was not willing to put up $40 to buy a camera. I said, I don't want to work with you. I don't want to work with any of your people. Why would I want to work with your people when they won't invest $50 on a camera on themselves? They won't invest in themselves. I'm going to ask them to change their entire structure of how they think about themselves. You think I'm going to have any success with these people? He has since, the VP of sales has since fired 4 of the 5. We never worked together. It's a good thing. It saved me a lot of stress, and it saved them a lot of money. And they've moved on. Now they've got 4 or 5 people. I talked to a guy the other day, said, we need to get you back in. I said, not until I'm convinced your people are really willing to learn. So high achievers always have that propensity to want to know what's the next thing. They're not obsessed with the shiny object. They just want to know, how can I get better? Pro athletes are always asking their coaches those things. What can I do to get better, coach, next season? What do I need to do? Coach brings them in after the last game of the season. They run through all the skills. They say, you need to get faster in the 500, 40. You need to be able to whatever, tackle better, whatever those things are in football. But every sport is like that. Great athletes want to know, how do I get the edge? Because they know that everybody else is coming to get them. Peyton Manning always knew that. Tom Brady always knew that. There's another level of people who are coming to pursue you. And it's the same thing in your business. You don't realize it, but there are people across town who do what you do, who are strategizing right now how to take your clients or how to get new clients. And you don't even get invited to the table because you never knew there was a table. And I don't want that to happen to you. So when we talk about the high income principles, the fact is that this is a dangerous game. This is a dangerous game, meaning I'm going to give you 5 things today that are going to be antithetical to how you think right now. They're going to go against the grain of how you think. And that's a dangerous game to play. Not only is it dangerous because it might work, and you might have to admit that what you had done for the last 20 years was off base and off track, but it also will put you out of your comfort zone. So let's get into these. Principles of high income. We're talking about this in our $1 Million Seller program, which we've already closed it up for this month, but we're going to be doing another one. So what I would recommend you do is go to $1,000,000sellerchallenge.com. It's a 5-day, 1 hour a day challenge. We're going to be doing another one here in May. But these are some of the things that we work on here, because I'm helping people get out of the way to allow them to get to a much higher income. Maybe that income is $1 million, maybe it's $500,000, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be $1 million. I use that as a kind of a metaphor for exponential growth. So what's number one? Number one principle is we have to understand that our future self determines our present self. What? Future self? What are you talking about? Because the way we have been taught to think is that our present self determines our future self. So what we do today determines what we will be like tomorrow. And there might be some truth in that, but I think it's the opposite. I think when we can vividly imagine and have a clear understanding of what our future self looks like, income-wise, that's one of the exercises I do in the challenge, is get super crystal clear on your income and start to imagine you in that income sphere. That will change your present behavior. So while the present does change the future ideal self, if you can get that vividly in mind, that will change your present. It just will, because you will start acting differently immediately. Instead of me saying, hey, you got to make 700 cold calls a day, which I would never say to you, you change your future vision of who you are and who you want to be. That will become, those calls or whatever will become easy to do. Number 2 principle, you've got to embrace the mindset of abundance. You've heard me talk about this for the last 20 years, but most of us don't have the mindset of abundance. We have the mindset of scarcity, of lack, of not enough. I'm not enough. There's not enough, not enough, not enough, not enough. And the fact is, there is more than enough. But it depends on how you look at the world. And if you look at the world through the eyes of abundance, you will see pain everywhere. If you look at it through the eyes of lack and scarcity, you won't see pain anywhere. The only pain will be in your own heart. So how you see the world determines what you act and how you act out in the world. And if you see the world as a place of abundance, it changes everything about you. So I learned this about probably 20 years ago. I was reading a book. It was called, it was by, oh man, Catherine Ponder. And the book was uh, The Laws of Prosperity. The Laws of Prosperity. And Catherine Ponder is an author. I think she was in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, or she was in a religious community. But Catherine Ponder wrote the book. It was an aqua green book. It was a terrible cover. It was a very simple cover. It was The Laws of Prosperity. And one law of prosperity is abundance, is you must see abundance everywhere because it's there. It's not like it's not there. You just you may be blind to it. And once you, in fact, one of the exercises, I keep talking about the $1 Million Seller because I'm in the middle of it right now. We're in challenge week, but is to talk about, sell me on the fact that you have abundance in your marketplace. Sell me on that. Sell me, communicate that to me clearly, that you understand and believe your market is abundant, because until you believe that, these things become hard to do. Number 3, we must have a deep belief in our own value. The principle there is we can't communicate our value to another person unless we deeply believe in it. And I don't know if you believe in your value or not. You may. And maybe it's superficial, and maybe it's middle of the road, and maybe it's deep. Anyway, it's fine. It can probably always be deeper. And so when you go out and talk to people and you have sales calls and meetings and discovery calls or whatever you want to call them, do you believe in your own value? Or do you only believe in you want to sell them something? Because if you believe deeply in your own value, it doesn't matter whether this person buys or not. It's irrelevant. Your value is so deep, and the belief is so deep that anybody around in the world in your marketplace could buy from you because you have value that they need and they want and they would like to pay for. So you've got to have a deep belief in your own value, or it becomes hard to communicate it to another person. If we discount our own value, and by the way, the value doesn't always have to be in the product. This is a big miss of people. The value is in you and the process you take them through as the guide on their journey to their destination. I say that again. They are on their path to a destination. You come into their life and help them see more clearly what that destination could be, help them understand how to get there, and help them guide them on that path there. That's extremely valuable. Forget about what you do. If you're in an accounting software company, okay. If you're a medical device company, okay. It has little to do with your product or service. It has more to do with, are you the vehicle? Do you see yourself as the vehicle, as the core main vehicle to help them get from where they are to where they want to be? If you don't, then you're going to be terrible at communicating your value. You're going to communicate it at 30% effectiveness, and then you can't figure out why people either don't buy, put you off, hold you off, don't want to pay your price. It's all because of that, because you never had a deep belief in your value. Number 4, our beliefs drive us. A principle of high income is, if you want to earn more, you have to understand the beliefs that are holding you back and me back. And by the way, I keep saying you, this is for all of us, man. I mean, I'm always in this mode of, okay, I'm getting ready to launch this thing or getting ready to, do this initiative. And if I ever get a little hesitant about it or reluctant about it, I have to ask myself, well, where's that belief coming from? Is that belief, am I in my own way? And how many times have you discovered that, yeah, it's not the marketplace, it's me. And if you say that, and I'm not saying to beat yourself up for it, but if you say, look, the reason I'm not where I need to be is me, it gives you all the power to fix it. But when you're a victim, when it's always about, well, the marketplace is weak and my sales manager won't buy me a Logitech video camera, and I really don't want to spend my own money on training. When that's you, when you're a victim, you never get to the marketplace. Your belief is wrapped up in victimhood. And I know I'm being brutally honest today, but I don't know how else to be when we talk about some of these things, because I know that you want to grow your income. I know that. You've told me that, if not you personally, you as a group have told me that. So I'm giving you 5 ways to do it. And some of these ways will be scary. It'll be dangerous. Number 5, the value you deliver in the market will be correlated heavily with your income. And we started there, but I think it's useful to bring it back to that. Want to make more? Want to earn more? Give more. What am I giving? I'm giving value. I'm giving some value away, even through things like this. I mean, though, again, as I said, the reason I do this because I want to give you some value. I want you to leave these videos thinking, okay, I disagreed with what Bill said, but I'm open to maybe considering it. Maybe he's got a point. Maybe he doesn't. That's all I ask. If you're going to shut out this stuff or shut out stuff from anybody, it doesn't have to be me, then you will probably not grow much. And you will end up in 20 years, probably about the same place. And you'll try to figure out, well, why did they do that to me? Why was the marketplace so evil? And why did my enemies try to take me down? I've got news for you. There are no enemies out there. There's a lot of forces. There's a lot of opposing forces in the world, in the marketplace, politically, community, bosses and managers, tyrants, fascists, whatever you want. Yep, there are opposing forces. But you have the agency to change. You and I create our own enemies. Cool? I know you don't. I know that's harsh talk, but opposing forces, absolutely. We have the opposing forces of customers who don't want to change, who aren't even open to what you have. That's an opposing force. But you can get past that if you're clear about your message, if you're good at communicating, you're really good at communicating your message, you can get past that. But a lot of us don't. So recap: principles of high income. I want you to make more money. I want you to do that through the communication of your value. If you want to earn more, give more. That's number 5. I'll move backwards here. Number 4 was our beliefs drive us. So if you want to get to a higher level of income, you've got to look at your belief set and ask yourself, what am I believing that's holding me back, that's in my way? Number 3, you've got to have a deep belief in your own value. I don't know why sales coaches and trainers don't talk more about this. I think this is a huge miss. A huge miss. We're always talking about, well, how do we ask questions better and how do we communicate our value better? Well, if you don't believe your value, if you don't believe in it, if you wouldn't buy from you, how are you going to get somebody else to buy from you? Number 2, you've got to embrace the mindset of abundance and detachment at the same time. But abundance, this idea that there's more than enough out there. Why is there more than enough? Group, why is there more than enough? Because there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of unmet potential, unmet possibilities. Forget about pain. I know that some of you don't like the word pain. Okay, take that out. And in its place, say, are there people in your marketplace? Are there people in your marketplace who have goals and dreams that are unmet because you're not in their life? Are there people in your marketplace who have dreams and goals that are unmet, unrealized because you aren't in their life? And I bet there are. And if there are, you've got to figure out a way to get into their life. And it could be through posting videos like this, could be through articles, could be through cold calling, panel discussions, webinars, whatever. There's a lot of different ways. But you can't blame the marketplace for not buying from you if the marketplace doesn't know you exist. You can't blame the marketplace for that. And then number 1 is our future self determines our present self. And this is a little bit of a switch. Is we used to think that our present self determined our future self. But if you can become vivid about your future, what you want to line up for, what your net worth looks like, what your income looks like, what your lifestyle looks like, what your client acquisition strategy looks like. Like for me, one of my future visions in the next year is all clients come to me. All clients come to me. All prospects come to me and become clients. I don't go out and seek anybody. I sit back, I create the best content I can, and people call me. And that's the way it kind of has been for the last couple of years, but I want to double down on that. You should be doubling down on that too, because isn't that a better lifestyle? Is people call you when they want to work with you versus you just, making 1,000 cold calls trying to find that one morsel of a prospect? Of course it is. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what you learned from this. And if you want to check out the $1 Million Seller, we're in Challenge Week now, but we will be doing another one in May. go to milliondollarsellerchallenge.com, and would love to have you in the program. It's very low cost, very high value, 1 hour a day. Would love to see you there. And thanks to all people who listen. I know we have hundreds, if not thousands, of people who listen throughout the day. And you guys are great. And I'd love to hear from you. See you next time. Bye. See you tomorrow.